This past weekend, I spent time with a couple of really good friends. Both are incredibly talented in their own right, strong, independent, super smart women. The kind of women who've built careers, navigated hard seasons, and don't need to ask permission to take up space. And we were talking and laughing like you do on a girls' weekend. And at some point, we decided to grab some wine and watch the Taylor Swift documentary and parts of the Eras tour. And like everyone does, we made the obvious observations. Yes, she's incredibly talented. Yes, she's super smart. And yes, she's wildly business savvy. But as we watched, a few things stood out to me that went much deeper than her music, and they stayed with me after the weekend ended. And this isn't about being a Swiftie, it's about leadership, it's about excellence, and it's about empowerment. So let's talk about leadership first. The first thing that really struck me is that she is an incredibly exceptional leader. Not in a flashy way. I mean, not as a leader in a flashy way. She's not ego driven, but really grounded and very intentional. And she leads by example. And you can see this in how she shows up rehearsal after rehearsal, performance after performance. She knows when to show emotion and when to be vulnerable, but also when to steady herself and be the strong one for everyone else. She is emotionally intelligent. She rewards generously, crediting her team, thanking people publicly, celebrating their contributions. And at the same time, she's not too proud or too important to take direction. And if you think about it, that's real leadership. Leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about knowing when to step forward and when to listen. So, the second thing I want to talk about is her professionalism. To me, she has an exceptional ability to handle herself and understand the impact of what she's doing. She knows that her work is affecting millions of people emotionally, financially, culturally, and instead of being casual about that influence, she actually treats it with care. She shows up prepared, she performs at an incredibly high level, she respects her craft, and more importantly, she respects her audience. What we are watching, of course, is years and decades of hard work and discipline and determination. Because success isn't just about getting to the top or being the best there is at your profession. It's about behaving, how you behave once you get there. And that brings me to my third point, and that is empowerment. And it really hits the level of empowerment in her organization. It's not just about picking the best dancers or the best musicians, although she does. She intentionally chooses people who may not look like what you'd expect. People who are older, people who are built differently, people who come from different backgrounds. She doesn't just include them, she actually elevates them. And that sends a powerful message to her audience that you don't have to fit in this mold to belong. You don't have to shrink to succeed. So we live in a world where we all have differing opinions about literally everything, and you could be disagreeing with me right now. But we can still celebrate intelligence, talent, independence, hard work, achievement, success, and humility. You don't have to like her music. You don't have to care about her personal life. But one thing's clear, she's not a phenomenon. She is the real deal. And I think there's something powerful about recognizing excellence when we see it, even if it's not packaged exactly the way we would choose. So this weekend reminded me that strong women recognize strength in others. Secure leaders aren't threatened by excellence. And real empowerment lifts people, it doesn't divide them. So pay attention to how people lead, how they handle success, how they treat others once the spotlight hits. There's a lot we can learn if we're willing to look beyond preferences and appreciate what's really happening. Thanks for listening.